Hi, it's Dr. Nicole.
And Coach Kofia.
And Dion, welcome to Opportunities Over Obstacles.
The podcast where we discuss lessons in motherhood.
Life and business.
Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey.
ladies, what's up? How are you?
What's
Good.
poppin'?
What's good? It's a lot popping apparently out here. Oh my
Look,
Ha!
goodness
Whoa.
gracious.
Yes, there is
it's
a lot of
never a lack of scandal, right? Right under our noses.
always and forever. I don't know about
Yeah.
always and forever, but I felt like that flowed a little bit.
Always and forever.
Yes.
Oh gosh. So what's going on in the hot topic scene this week
Did he
is
do
Look,
it? Did he did he do it? Some people say even with the video that just came
some
out that
people are
mix.
saying no.
no
Who?
way.
It's I don't know if it's people are saying that he didn't do it, but people are definitely still questioning the
There's
victim.
more to the story, or quote
Like,
unquote, we need to hear
yeah.
all sides.
Like, yeah, she might not have lied, but then it's just like,
What makes someone deserving of that though? Like
Yeah.
what justifies those actions?
yeah, or even criticizing her escape route. It was like, if you're fearing for your life, you're not going to wait for the elevator. Why didn't she take the stairs?
Was that
Like,
women commenting that? Because usually it's,
it was. Well,
yeah,
I've seen both, but the
okay.
crazy thing is on his, because I went over to his Instagram because I was just kind of curious
Ooh.
if he had been active
She did
recently.
some research, baby.
Because I'm newsy. I'm here for the
Yeah.
comments. I'm like, well, are people? And someone said on my Facebook feed that like, oh, he still has this many followers. I'm like, yeah, he has people following him, but people are also going
They want
in
to
on him.
know.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
that's where the conversation is happening. But it was definitely a good amount of black women, women of color, unfortunately. So
Because I meant to say that it's like a defense mechanism to protect yourself psychologically from the reality that that could happen. You could be
Mhm.
abused, like bad things could happen to us. We try to
mhm,
vilify the victim to separate ourselves. Like,
Come
oh,
on,
well,
Dr.
she's,
Nicole.
I would have took the steps. Or, you know how when they say, like, if a woman is raped, like, well, what did she have on? It's kind of to
mm,
insulate yourself, like, well, it couldn't happen to me because there must have been something that that person did. But I just think it's sickening,
yeah.
actually.
Or
Yeah.
even with going back to like the R. Kelly situation, it was like, well, where was the girl's family? And I'm like, okay, okay, that's a separate
Right.
issue, but I'm like, that does not, like, absolve the person of that was those terrible acts, like, that's just
Yeah.
I
so
mean, and she obviously must have gotten out the relationship because I don't think they're together
no,
today.
she's married, she's been married for a couple years now.
Yeah, so she
With
Yeah,
two
obviously
kids,
left.
right? Mm-hmm.
mhm,
Yeah,
thank
she
God.
left and maybe it was her family. I mean, I don't even know if we'll ever know, but maybe it was her family. Maybe this is something that was before her family stepped in. We don't know, right? And so
Mhm,
people
Mm-hmm.
just comment
I
just
know.
ignorance. Just ignorant. But it
Mm,
had me thinking when we were gonna discuss the topic about raising daughters, to be aware and be able to is there something that can be done as far as like prevention, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's her fault, but is there something that my kids can watch out for to not even entertain like the foolishness, like to not get trapped up or caught up in the glitz and the glamour? Like, what
Mm-hmm.
can I pour into them that would make them just not even want to be bothered with that kind of
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think in like a case of someone like Diddy or this celebrity culture, I think is really teaching them about narcissism and like how people will try to draw you in and be seductive and charming and woo you with all these external things, and
Mhm.
how a lot of times the rest of society is cheering that on, like, oh girl, yeah, like we cheer
Mhm.
on people getting with unhealthy partners because
mm,
externally,
They look good.
they look,
because
yeah.
to them, that's high value.
Mhm.
Mm. to bring in
So
Mr. Samuel.
why it's got to bring old Sam into the mix. I think it's
Yeah,
also important to have some sort of example of a healthy
relationship.
relationship, um, whether it's, with their father or a male relative, or see, just
Mhm.
they need to see what a healthy relationship looks like. Not a perfect relationship,
Yeah.
not one that's without um, disagreements, but like definitely not one that is so toxic, like
Violent.
violent.
Yeah.
And
Because I remember. Mhm.
I was just thinking that was hard to watch. And I'm like, oh my God, like for Cassie to have gone through all the like public scrutiny, and
Mhm.
I'm thinking about her family, like
Her
I'm wondering like, okay,
kids.
her kids, I wonder if her family members saw that video.
Mm,
I mean, when
mm,
he reared back and like kicked her when she was, I was like, oh my God.
What a
Like,
bastard. Like,
and it
yeah.
definitely
honestly.
did not give off the feeling to me like this was like the first incident. Like he seemed
Mhm.
very comfortable just going all like, and Nicole's the expert here, so I'll defer to
But
you. But I'm
I
like,
think
that
we all
don't look
know what
like.
we said exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember reading about Rihanna, like how she said she grew up with her parents constantly fighting to the point where she would get these pounding migraines. And so I think though that kind of thing made her susceptible, right? Not again, forgive me if I'm using words that aren't, but like those kind of things prime you for future abuse. And even Chris Brown was experienced a lot of abuse. Obviously, he channeled it into that's how he did, express his anger. So you had two people who grew up in abusive backgrounds get
Hmm.
together, and then he's the strong, he beat her up. And I was like,
Hmm.
wow, this is so sad because it's just a cycle
It is.
where a person experiences that and that's what they see and that's what they know. And even though it's painful, that's just familiar to them.
And that's their norm. So it's like you're 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 comfortable with it, right? When I
Hmm.
heard somebody say like you brought up the example is familiar, and like the whole familiar sounds familiar to family. So it's like it feels
Mm,
like family. You know what I mean? It feels, and so even to try to do something different, thankfully she has now, but it takes a lot of, you know, addressing and looking at where you come from and just making a conscious decision that you're not going to kind of repeat this cycle over and over again.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And isn't the stat that, we're more likely to repeat what's been patterned for us than not?
It's
So
yeah. Well, I was
something
gonna say I
something
don't
to
know the
that effect.
statistic, but there's like a saying that says
Mhm.
children catch what's caught versus what's taught.
Mm,
So they
what
catch
part?
PC
the
monkey do.
yeah, they catch
Yes.
the things that they observe more than they catch the things
Yes.
that they are actually like taught like one, two, three, four, five.
Mhm.
So I can see that for sure. And it's like,
Yeah.
how much like I don't know. Then how does society like ultimately society like perpetuates this whole type of cycle, even though they victimize the woman, then they question her, but then in the same on the same hand, it's like the music that we have, the movies that we make,
Oh,
the
yeah.
things that we fall into, we're like, yeah, oh my god, that's my show. It's packed with violence and like mistreatment of women and not
Mm-hmm.
uplifting, and it's just like, how do we get entertainment from it? And so in order for things to change, we would have to truly be disgusted by it, so much so that we no longer support it in any
In
fashion.
any form. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
It's crazy. I
Exactly.
was driving, Wednesday, maybe like 40, 50 minutes out of town, and my streaming service was on. And now I instinctively, now of course I don't know like every person's whole catalog, but like if an
Mhm.
R. Kelly song comes on, even if it's a song that I know I loved, even if it wasn't sung by R. Kelly, if I know he had something to do with the writing or producing of it, I skipped. And now I'm sitting here like 90s hip hop was my like now I'm just like, well, what does all
Toxic.
this mean? Right? I'm like, now I'm reevaluating like my tastes, my choices, like what I've been taking in, who I've been supporting. Like it's I'm like, shoot, well what's left? What can we in terms of, music, film, I mean, if we're canceling folks,
Well,
Mm.
I
dang.
wonder if we have to cancel because a lot of people he was involved with, they actually were cheated and swindled by him and
Mhm,
mishandled like by him.
mhm.
So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
also victims, that all the back contracts and all the shady stuff that he did. But
Mhm.
like, I wonder if we feel good when we cancel a person, but it's more like the culture. Because
Mhm.
even
True.
Diddy, they gave him that award, wasn't that 2023 Lifetime Achievement? Or was that
23,
was recent
22-ish, yeah.
too?
He did get a big
And
award recently. Let me look
and
that
when
up.
he got with that girl Carisha, I saw so many women supporting that. Go
Who is
ahead, girl.
Carisha?
That girl, the city girl, the rapper,
Oh,
Wait, what
okay.
but
happened?
she was hooked up with Diddy. What is her rap name? But she's just one of those. She's with the city girls,
We don't
and
know.
she perpetuates city girl life. But so many people felt like it was a come up because supposedly he was giving her an allowance of 200,000 per month. They did all these photo shoots. She was
Mm,
talking about how they're together and they were in public, and I'm like, he's a disgusting human being. Like, why are we happy that yet another young woman is trading sex for money with him or whatever it is?
Mhm.
But
because
it was
we
all because they look
prioritize that.
glamorous. Mhm.
That's it's part of getting the bag. So, at the end of the day, that outweighs or holds more value than, something deeper. So, it looks like he got that award in 2022.
Mm.
See?
The BET, Lifetime Achievement Award.
And wasn't there a VMA, something else to look up or
She
Hmm.
said, "Find out
there
all
was,
his awards. We need to know what's going
we need to the
on."
Academy. Y'all
Google, please.
knew this was a her.
Oh, Google. What did we do? Oh my gosh. His awards go back to, this is just at a glance on Google, 97.
Mm.
So, everything from like MTV, Video Music Awards, Billboard, BT Viewers, Choice, Soul Train, BET Honors. He got the award for the Sammy Davis Jr. Award, like uh, Kids Choice Award for favorite dresser. Like, because this is what we see.
What?
And here's the kicker: NAACP Award 1998.
Exactly.
Like,
How?
It's
Like,
cash
based
for
on what?
it's
So then it's like,
money,
okay,
cash for
you get.
play. Mhm.
Oh, right, right, right. So you got these awards, and your character is shot.
and this is your
So
legacy. Like, that's it.
your character is shot, but how in the world are you validating this man with these awards and he's whack? Like as a like his character is not good.
He's whack.
I mean, I don't I'm could but it makes me think of that whole pay to play system, which
Mhm,
you can pay for you can pay for a degree. You can
Well,
pay
he
mhm.
has an
for
honorary doctorate from my alma mater, Howard University, and the
He
people are like,
does.
they need to give back his money. He donated $1 million,
He
dollars,
did. He's done.
and
Yep.
he has an honor. That year, he got an honorary doctorate.
I mean, so I'm not going to assume if this goes back to God knows when, the mid 90s, right? I mean, all right, maybe they didn't know at the time because how much of this is it's so
But
many
they knew in
layers.
2022.
They did, well, yeah,
Mm-mm.
right.
Or they don't even maybe they don't even know it all. Maybe it's just you got the money so you can get the stuff.
Or we're just
And we
looking
don't
at the
care.
talent and
Right.
nothing else. Like, okay, he's a good rapper, producer.
Is he a good
So
rapper?
I don't know. He's considered a
Take that.
rapper.
Take that.
But is he a good rapper? Like I can say
I'm
he's
gonna
a
go do my
good.
Diddy dance.
You somewhere I read, and I don't remember where I read it, but somebody said he just reproduced a bunch of old school songs, like,
From
and
the
redid them. Yeah, that was done
70s.
previously.
Mm-hmm.
But as someone who loves, and we were having this conversation at my job the other day. I think the reason why I loved 90s, well, not just 90s hip hop, but just hip hop, even like late 80s, is because it bridged the old school stuff that like I would listen to as a kid. So I mean, I think in a way he was giving homage, right? And introducing a whole like new generation.
You making him way deeper than I don't know if he is.
But that's how I viewed it. Like for
Okay.
me, it was very, I can only speak for me, but I wonder, I'm not going to speak for everybody else. I wonder who else in my age range feels the same way. Like, wow, like these are the songs like my parents listened to, but they put a little like spin on it, right? So then what happened was, you had all these like 90s collaborations, um, and people like going back to the original. So like artistically, I get it. That does now, but also like Nicole said, like we don't know who knew what as well. So that's
But
like,
it's look how all of those people knew because how long have these rumors been going around about the Diddy parties, Usher being
mhm.
indoctrinated? And that's another thing. Like,
Oh, hold
honestly,
up.
I would never put my underage child in that environment. Um,
Mhm.
in
Anything
order to have
Hollywood.
somebody groom, yes,
Yeah.
anything Hollywood music industry is known to groom and abuse. Most of those child stars are drugged, have all kind of issues. So for
Mhm.
people, this is a warning. Okay, we're not blaming the people before, but if you have aspirations for your child to make it in some industry, you need to be there with them you got to quit your job
Yeah.
and just you
Yeah.
can't hand them over to somebody to mentor
Yeah.
them, which aka groom them to be used and exploited. So that's my warning. Like if we can learn anything, don't let anybody else
Right.
indoctrinate your child
Mhm.
into this mess.
Yeah. Like I'm not I'm trying to choose my words carefully.
I know
I
before
can
we get canceled.
Well, it's not even that. It's me sorting I'm sorting through my feelings on this issue like in real time. Like I can appreciate um the person's talents and also like acknowledge like, oh, you've done some jacked up stuff. And
Yeah.
because you've done some jacked up stuff, I can't respect any of this. Right? So I'm not taking away, and again, the 90s was like how many years ago? Like I don't know who knew. I can't assume. Like I wasn't in the room.
Right.
Right? Like, I can't assume who in the industry knew what, but they're
Yeah.
definitely like enablers or
Yeah.
even people who have been silent. And yes, to like I think it's is it Brandy's mom who was like really a momager? Like I
Mm,
respect that. Like, yeah, if my child's gonna be a star, you best believe I'm gonna be in every I'm have a tight, I don't want to say tight leash, but I'm be
yeah.
there. I'm be there. Like, yeah.
Because I think even Beyonce's father quit his job. Her mom already was working for herself, but like
Hmm.
they weren't leaving it to other people to put their
Yeah.
child on. They put their child on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he I don't know if they knew, like, well, Cassie did say in that lawsuit that his people working for him, they would go and tell and get her, like hunt her down.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even that like, oh, you should have left. And they said even one of his lawyers contacted her and said it would be in your best interest to call him back or something. So that kind of
It's
like
crazy.
intimidation that no matter where you go, these people
Have a hold on.
are, yeah.
Yeah, they've got
And she's a,
handlers and henchmen and yeah, they don't have to do the work. They just send their dogs.
It's a whole
It's,
freaking crap show. Like,
so what is going to happen? I'm like I
so
rather
Sophia says she thinks he's gonna go do jail time. Remember
I
we
think
were
so.
texting.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah. I think they're gonna have to, and somebody's gonna like make this a thing and standing up for the women, and somebody's gonna pay, and
And
he's gonna
that's a
be
whole industry too. I'm
yeah.
sorry, but
Exactly. That's why I said it like that, because it's like it's not really changing anything. We're not changing, like, it's almost like the I don't know if I want to say it, but it's almost like the Black Lives Matter thing. Something happens, we get hype, it passes over, we don't make real change. Like, so
and
this
those
needs to
people
be
got millions of dollars. The
all
the
kind of
leaders of
You don't
that.
think there's been any change?
Well, I'm saying, like, in our communities, there's nothing enforced for us to really stop killing each other and for us to really do things like for the police. Like,
Mm.
as it just dies down. Like, it gets to its peak when something happens, and then it just dies down over time. Like, the amount of change that would be necessary, people would literally like lose money. And I think because that is in jeopardy, like, no real lasting change can happen from the top up. And I think from the bottom up, us as a community, I feel like it's hard for us to stick together to really make the change that we need to go against the things that were taught before, for all the various reasons that's difficult.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't
A
know what
hundred
Yeah,
percent, yeah. I think the
I
hashtags and the movements become so trendy and
this is
they
interesting.
lose mustard. I think I think the real work is usually the work that's not hashtagged. But I
That's
think
where I
the
was that's
trend,
what I was
okay,
thinking.
that's yeah.
So,
No,
okay,
there's
so
real work being done, but it's
because I
these
see it from a different
hashtags.
perspective, working for a
Mhm.
social justice organization, there is so much happening on the ground, and I think when we see movements, by the time it comes out, it's just it's on the platform, it's the hashtag. Now, I don't know what the trickle down effect is of that, right? But in terms of like how do we continue the work or the buy-in, right? Even after things kind of seem to settle down, but like there's definitely things happening on the ground. Now, in terms of change, we're going up against a system that wasn't, and I'm sorry, this is not even Diddy, but like, I mean, to
Well,
make the
he's part of
parallel,
the whole
right? But we're going up against a
conspiracy.
system that was not meant to benefit, that's not meant to look out for the best interests of the little people. So to liken that to like Black Lives Matter, it's not to say that nothing's being done, but if we can, I say, all right, just call them out one person at a time. If Diddy has to be the sacrificial lamb, I don't even know when to say the sacrificial lamb because I
He did
Yeah,
it.
it's not,
he did it.
right. I was gonna say he's not innocent.
Right. But in terms of how that's going to affect the whole system, it's like,
Yeah.
what is the alternative? Because we don't, we're not at the top, right? So it is that kind of more of a grassroots approach where you might have to target one person at a time, hit them in their pockets, send that's how you send the message. Like when I started learning about organizing and I started watching like all these different like documentaries, and the one documentary was about Bayard Rustin, who
Oh
was the civil
yeah.
rights, he was like
He
the
was the
brainchild.
architect. Mhm.
It was not MLK, did great things. He was the face of the civil rights movement. But that really gave me insight into how you take down these systems. It starts with small battles. So I think the optics of things kind of makes people feel like, well, I haven't seen anything, but I think there's definitely things happening on the ground. Now, that's just from my seat in the show, but I think we maybe could shine some light on it at a different like level and
I
not just
think
with
it's just the corporatization of it. Like, if
mhm.
there's one savior that's gonna come fight for women, like that kind of stuff, I don't
No.
like. Because
No.
even with Black Lives Matter, those three people who were the head of it, they have made millions of dollars. And the actual like money that they were granted or whatever didn't necessarily trickle down. So I'm more apt to go, for example, with the organization you work with
Mhm.
versus the national Black Lives, like these big hashtag movements. I get really turned off by them. I'm more apt to go, who is on that corner in the community that knows
Mhm.
the people, that is teaching people
Yeah.
a different way versus
Yeah.
all the cameras and,
I
the
think everything
publicity.
has its place. Like it's like cancer, right? You might need to operate from within. You might need to be on the outside. Like we have to be very strategic. Like I don't know if there's one simple approach to taking down the system. And like I'm not mad at Black Lives Matter.
I am. When I
I
read
mean,
what the money that they got, and
let's
that's just me. Like,
there's a
just
place
when
for
I
every I
read,
feel like there's a place
yeah,
for everybody. Like if Black Lives Matter and I know it's messy, but like even if they brought attention to an issue that a lot of people may not have, but like it served its purpose, so maybe that stirred up or ignited something in somebody to do something on the ground. But the when you mentioned like the savior, I think that's the whole issue with this Diddy thing is like we're now like supporting Cassie, which we should, but then it's like, what can we be doing? Like organizing is about getting the people to own their power. Like we're the ones with the power. It's not the other way around. Right.
Right.
So I think
exactly,
that's the
yeah.
thing to get people to understand. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm coming off my soapbox.
You were
Well, no, I
no, I
think
think it's
that
good. It's a good conversation.
people, we have to just have a different way. It goes back to like interrogating what you support. And I don't mean just as far as streaming and stuff, but like what you
Mhm.
support as far as what the messages you
The
give
message.
people. We
Yeah.
give girls the message that they should go for superficial things. They should use what they got to get what they want. And it's all get the bag. We promote all of that stuff. We promote it
Mm,
incessantly. And I feel
true.
like that directly is going to put a lot of women, young women, into harm's way because they're not going to understand how to discern danger, good and bad, they're going to be seduced and there's going to be people around them promoting them to be seduced by that.
Mhm.
Mm, that's good.
And we
Real
keep
sad.
saying, get the bag, get this and that. Like,
But it's so much more
No.
than just the bag. That's just
Like get yourself, get the whole healed you. That's what you do.
yes,
Get
www.
the whole healed
plug.
you. Big plug. It's making me think like I definitely want to like the people that I work with currently, a lot of them deal with trauma and a history of and domestic violence is like a big part of it and getting out of those relationships and a part of that like I as far as like my ability what my role is in this bigger scheme of things is really helping people heal and thrive and be emotionally mature enough to make good sound decisions in their like for a relationship and for
Mhm.
themselves. So it's like like it's charging me with okay, what do I want to do? What is the role that I can take as it relates to like helping my children and then also helping the women around me that that I can help that I can influence. So
Mm,
I think that's like Dion was saying, like it's we have the power. So I think it's just a matter of us taking charge of our role in this thing. I was reading something too, and it was talking about you would go by, you would see somebody who is like in the middle of the street and yelling, needing help, and everybody would walk by because they would think that somebody else is gonna go help
The
them.
bystander effect. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the more people that are around, the less likely you are to be helped.
that's crazy. That's
If
that
it's
is
just one person around, you're more likely than if it's like
a
hundreds of
bunch.
people witnessing it.
Because people think somebody else is gonna do it and nobody and then the whole thing like I don't know what they're gonna say about me, do I really have the ability to help them, like all
Mhm.
these different things
they
that
What
are
start
if
to
just
I'm
feel
wrong?
right. They don't wanna be
yes,
the one to step up for so many reasons.
yes. And so I
That
think
Yeah.
is so true.
my role in that is just helping people see like one, you deserve greatness and you deserve so much, like happy, healthy, healed and all that, and you have the ability to influence other people. So
Mhm. That is, and to impact your own trajectory. Like you can make a shift that can not only affect you in this life, but it's going to affect generations. Like imagine
Right.
a woman that comes from generations of a domestic abuse. Like just say Rihanna. Let's pray that she's broken from that cycle. She has her kids, her boys or girls, I don't know which one she has, but like hopefully her being that healed, she will raise her kids in a way where they don't, it's not familiar to them to
Mm-hmm.
perpetuate that. And
Yeah.
they'll have a way of life that's like healed, like you said. Like they're not, if she has girls, they'll value themselves, they'll understand the signs. If she has boys, we pray they wouldn't be monsters. Like, oh, we were looking into Diddy's background.
Hmm.
His father was a gangster.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
Like a
interesting.
real gangster.
I don't think I've heard
Worked,
anything about his dad. I've like heard a little bit about his mom, but I don't think I've even considered that.
Hmm.
he was killed though when Diddy was two.
Oh,
He worked for Frank Lucas. Is that the one that the movie was made
wait.
about?
Did he
Is
work
that
Is
for
the
Frank Lucas?
no,
that
his
the daddy?
father.
Oh,
Is that the
okay. That
mafia?
was he was
Isn't that
the
the
he
one that the movie
ran
was?
he
Look,
was the black gangster that ran New York. He gave all the other families Italian, like he gave everybody a run for their money. He ran
mm.
Harlem. That was yeah.
That was the
Going
So
back
he
one
to
that
was
the
Harlem.
movie was
ruthless.
made about, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So he was seeing ruthlessness from the time. Well,
Or
I
it
don't
was
even
the
think he
aura
needed to
of
see it. Yeah, I don't think he. It was just in him.
Remember the DNA stuff that we
Yeah, the
yes.
was talking about?
epigenetics. So, like when
Yeah,
his sperm was in his dad's body, what was he doing? And so he's consuming all of the
violence.
things, the
Yep.
The
violence,
murders.
all of that, and then he's passing it on to his Diddy's mom, and ain't no telling what she's experienced and what her egg was doing while he was, and then what was happening for
Sophia
him
breaking
while
it
he
down.
was in utero. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
If he died when he was
Let's
two, like
let's level set because I don't think the listeners and the viewers know what the heck we're talking about. It makes sense to us, but I don't know if people understand.
I want to show my
It's
book
like,
to you guys.
oh, that makes sense because the sperm and the egg. I know people are like, what
In
is
other words, to all y'all gangsters out there, think the story. Every gangster movie is it's a gangster who thinks they're going to get legitimate, right? Like I'm just doing this
mm,
for now. I'm going to
trying to
take that
stack it
money.
up?
yeah.
I'm going to do something good. It never works. But what you're doing is you're passing all of those negative, those bad deeds down to the next generation. You literally are.
Yeah.
You can't be clean. Your kids cannot be clean from that.
Mm.
Like, remember Frank if that was that the American Gangster movie?
American Gangster. Hmm.
What Denzel?
Yep.
Yep.
You got to watch it. It is so good. Was that
All
who
right,
was in
Sophia.
that?
That's your homework this weekend or
Yeah.
next. I'll give you a week.
Oh, yeah, I'm
There
gonna
will
need
be a quiz.
okay. Ask me next week.
They can dress their kids all up cute and get the high rise and the Upper West Side. They can do all of that. Is you're never going to escape that death and destruction that you
Mhm.
put it. And even Diddy, they said, oh, he treated his daughters like princesses. So now what are you doing?
But
You're
then
putting that on
How he
kill their
treat Kim? If he's doing
his
that to
baby
Kim,
mama. That's why I
how
was
was he
like,
treating Kim?
but
Why?
here's the
Look,
crazy
I'm
thing.
so
Every
sorry.
now that this has come out, everybody's looking at him side eyed over the Kim Porter thing. And I'm like, who didn't
did
know
she
that?
poison him? He poisoned her.
That I think there was rumors or allegations of abuse, but again,
Hmm.
people were just
I'm
like,
sure.
well,
Come on. You
He
think
just
he
put
was
this
with
lady
her?
on
Yeah.
camera in the public place in the hallway.
and kicked her like she was a football, like all in, all like everything. And Kim
The
Porter's,
rage.
I feel like I'm gossiping, but no. Kim Porter's friend has been posting on social media recently and
Oh,
sharing some of her I don't even know if I want to repeat some of the stuff that she is saying that Kim had to endure while Diddy and Cassie were together, like how he pitted the two of them against each other
because
because
it was overlap
well, it was more
or,
like the colorism thing
oh
and
my
this
God.
trying to pit them against it. It was just it's sick.
Hmm.
But I'm it's going to be interesting also to see how how other I don't know Diddy adjacent people are going to respond or if they respond.
Who is now
Because
actually
I'm like,
who wants to be associated? Like,
Mm-mm.
who would be
or
Mace
who's
got
somebody?
out of there. Do y'all remember
listen,
Mace?
Oh,
Mace,
yeah.
do y'all remember
Mace,
Mace? Mace was like, "I'm out, holla." Well,
he
he, you
was
know,
the first one, right?
Yep, and them they were beefing for a while, right?
I think so, and
Are they
yeah,
still at it?
I don't know, but I remember seeing something about Mace, uh, and he was just like, oh no, he was being interviewed, and they asked him about Puffy, and he was just like, you know, like we went our separate ways, basically. Like I don't have nothing to do with.
Diplomatic.
Yeah, like very diplomatic. It
Mm,
was like, oh, and even when he had to come back, like I don't know why I know about Mace, but even when he had to come back and
I
like
like
finish
him.
some, I
Hmm.
did too. Finish some of his record obligations or whatever.
mhm.
Like that was just, yeah, by himself.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
just
you
so
said
crazy.
what are the warning signs? Number
Yes.
one, he's trying to pit you against another woman.
Yeah.
If that's what you said the friend is saying. So that's
Mhm.
a warning sign. He is bad news. If a man tries to pit you, compare you, somehow denigrate or make you feel better by pitting you against another woman, nope, he's no good.
Hmm.
Because I
I'm
can't believe he would. I can believe it, but like, that is just,
so I've just pulled up the because y'all know I take screenshots. That's my secret hobby. That's my hobby. Kim Porter's friend alleges Diddy also physically abused Kim Porter. Says Cassie was complacent and Diddy being colorist towards Kim. He tried to make him, can I say this, lick Cassie's tampon.
wait, what? How? I'm
This is
totally confused.
it's a screenshot from someone who was a friend of Kim Porter. This Diddy thing is not a surprise. It makes me remember the horrible way he treated my friend. Um, what y'all saw in that video of Diddy beating Cassie was nothing. We'll never forget the time he tried to, and I'm not going to repeat it. Always using Kim's race as a put down. You guys don't know the half of what women go through with famous and powerful men, be they rappers, actors. Y'all have no idea, and you always demonize the women. Always
But we've got to stop dating. I'm not, this is not to blame anyone, but like literally, those people
dig
are bad
deeper.
news.
Right? It can't just be the like it
Yeah.
can't be it. That just
Yeah.
and so when we
And
we mhm.
you what?
I'm thinking about like all the conversations we have about like the Kendra G show and Kevin Samuels, and the conversation's always around the superficial stuff. And I'm like, you that's it? That's the only thing you require?
Yeah.
Yeah. But who's teaching
You,
the people?
Who's teaching the
Too?
people?
Like, cause
well,
mamas
it's
not.
back to what you said. Because
Mamas
what?
and daddies aren't. Daddies
They
is
don't have no
absent.
examples, so they're, following suit maybe. I don't know.
Mm.
There's
All right. So we're all
uh,
charged with really speaking out about, like, I say he fits into, we call it the triad of dark psychology. Look, he's a demon. But no, from a psychological, like, he has a lot of narcissism, grandiose view of himself. A lot of, they call it Machiavellism. He portrays an image to hide his true nature. Is always philanthropy, this, that, and the other. And he's a psychopath. Like literally no feeling, no care. You can abuse people. And he has those traits. So we don't have to name that for the kids, but we kind of have
mhm.
to be like, if someone is really mean to you and says they love you, but they try to make you
Yep.
feel like crap, it doesn't matter what they have. Like, no,
Yes.
that's not a person for you.
And even have a conversation with my kids around like friendships. Like, does that feel good when your friend said this to you? Do you think that friends do this to friends if they care
Right.
about you? So just having
Hmm.
those conversations, so there's this level of awareness, I think is really important.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
And
just
then it's
thinking about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no. Go ahead. Finish.
I was just thinking about my own situation, and I share with you ladies how I was in a DV situation. It happened once, and I called in the
Look, Dion,
reinforcements, and that's all I'm gonna say on this here podcast. Wait, has the statute of
hello.
limitations passed? Yeah, statute of limitations is passed. But there was a situation, and I, in hindsight, he was a predator.
Mm,
Like, very like, I was in a was I an
Manipulative,
adult?
right? Mm.
Manipulative, like, very, it felt like he was very caring, but it was just that control that he was trying to assert, you know?
mm.
So you have to be, like, mindful of what what is I don't know, is it healthy caring?
Attachment,
What is the
healthy
Mhm.
attack
No
attachment.
love bombing. Mhm.
Yes.
right, love bombing. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
So right
Giving
now,
you,
Wow.
oh, you're the best. Oh, I'm
yeah,
gonna give you this. I'm gonna take you here.
the
These
Mhm.
other
beginning is
women
like,
have nothing on you, and
And it's like,
yes,
you know,
it's like
it
every single day I want to talk to you. It's like overly like I want to. You are made for
all
me.
day. Excuse me, all day. You at
Yeah,
work? Okay, you going to class? Oh, you going to cafeteria? And I'm like, yeah, like to me,
wow.
it was just
You in the
like,
toilet? Like, what you
right, yeah. I
doing?
was like, I'm in college, like I'm involved in a lot of things. Like it makes sense that he
right.
would want to know my whereabouts, but it got really weird. Like I had to like move around campus a few times too. Yeah,
That's
it was not
sickening.
good. Thank
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
because yeah. So
Look, that man almost got himself killed because, yeah, look, if people would
listen,
have known.
that's why I'm gonna stop talking.
Mm.
So
And
to all the
Yeah.
women out, oh, go ahead, Kofia. I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead.
No, I
I
was just gonna say to all the women out there, just if you find yourself in that situation, don't feel shame. Like no matter how long
Mhm.
it's been, whenever you feel you can do it, reach out for help. Nobody, the right people are not going to say, why didn't you say something? Like, please, whenever you can, get yourself out of it. Let go of the shame or the whatever you might be feeling because you don't deserve it. And
Mhm.
it is easy to be manipulated and seduced by all of this, especially it feels good and maybe you're vulnerable at a certain period or whatever. So don't beat yourself up about, like, despite all we're saying, we're not saying it's your fault. We're just saying as a society, we need to help differentiate healthy from unhealthy.
mm-hmm.
And a
Mhm.
lot of this mess out here is
they're,
unhealthy.
and they're teaching
And
them. They're teaching
mhm.
some of the like the men like how to
Oh,
manipulate and how to take advantage of and how to use like mind control over a woman. So it's like we have like for me, I'm like I have to guard my daughters and prepare them for, the things that will try to come against them. Like literally, like there are people that are gonna try to prey on you, and
Mhm,
a lot of times it's a situation where they're seeking that validation, or they
mm,
know who to kind of like. I'm not saying it's the woman's fault because there's no reason for you to be abused, but there is definitely a type of person that they will go after, a person that they know that they can control, whether it be age, whether it be mindset, whether it be all
mhm.
those things are considered. So
Naivete.
yeah,
Mhm.
so it's like we have to supply our children, our daughters with as many tools so that it prevents them from falling into those categories.
yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And teach our sons how to be
I
how
was
to
gonna
treat women.
say,
How would you treat
Yeah.
your mother?
I don't even know if you would say
and
that
how
because some of
not
their
to be
mamas.
victims,
Well,
because
then
a
there's
lot of
that.
boys
Yeah.
are victims
And
of
that's oh, yeah. Oh,
women.
that's the other thing with Diddy. It's all those allegations too. We didn't even talk about that.
There's allegations for that. Oh gosh.
About him and other
Oh, like the same thing.
celebrities, male
Probably all of this
celebrities,
was a cover for him really
that
trying to
he's
cover up
that those Diddy parties are
Mm.
just
orgies.
free for alls. And the other thing is, stop. Why are we so distrustful of women? I don't
Mm.
understand that. I don't know if it's just again going back to like, well, he's talented and this person seems like a good guy, so you have to show me like it should not be that hard. It should not have to take video evidence. And that was from
Yeah.
2016. So I'm like, what? And first of all, how did they get that video?
Oh, they said, Dion, I meant to tell you, I heard that she said in the lawsuit that she found out that he paid somebody $50,000 at the hotel to give it to him, and then people were saying it was obtained in the raid. So, like, he paid the hotel to
Mhm.
get it and, like, cover it up, pay somebody 50,000, and then when whoever raided him, FBI or whatever,
Mhm.
that's when they obtained it, and then it was leaked from there.
Why
So
would you
somebody in the
steal it?
FBI leaked it?
I think it was on remember I told you, I think the feds leaked not leaked, but, like, put that out to kinda help
Mhm.
public sentiment. I think they're gonna indict him for something whatever they were raiding him
Something.
for.
Yeah. And there was something else. It was Believe Women. It was something else, Nicole, that you touched on, and I totally lost it, but there's so much to unpack, and it's so unfortunate.
So,
Oh, The
bottom
Circle.
he's a scumbag.
The
Oh,
people who are
yes.
ne like, y'all gotta say
He's a
something.
scumbag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just as bad as he is. You're an enabler, you are I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, you're just as guilty in my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we are around people that are doing things that are not good, have the courage to say something.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that goes back to the culture, right? It's not only for women to be glitz and glam with the men and whatever, but it's like you have an entourage of people that are covering up for you, but you paying them and they living good. And if they tell on you, then they ain't gonna be living so good. It's
Mhm.
like, don't like, I think that's what selling your soul is. Like you're selling your
Yeah,
soul to cover up, like, and keep a certain lifestyle, and you're doing people wrong. And that's not
And
okay.
a lot of those people too, like the men, they have they're looking for validation or a powerful male figure. Like they're just as
Yeah.
screwed up, you know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
like the money, but it's also they want to be validated and feel like they're part of something.
Yeah.
And they
It's like
just
that's their team. They on team
yeah.
Diddy. I work with Diddy. I work for Diddy. I got access
right.
to him.
They
You
wanna
know
be
what
put
I'm
on, so mhm.
saying? Lord.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Well,
have the power within. You don't need these you don't need to be attached to any of this to have value and worth. Like,
You are enough. That's just it.
yes,
yeah.
literally.
Yeah,
So much more.
literally.
So much
Yeah.
more than enough. Well, this was a
Well,
very
I'm
interesting.
sure we might continue as the news keeps coming down. We might have more insights and uh, takes on this whole yeah, what do we call it? This whole
The
I
shenanigans.
was gonna say ish show, but,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
it's just
Right.
a mess, and I'm just looking like, how many other people that's the other thing. How many other people are, like, sweating, like, busting a sweat right now because 'cause they've been doing some similar stuff, like, it needs what
I
did Cat
gotta
Williams say?
yeah.
He was like, "This is the year of truth." So Cat
He
had
was
it
like
he
Everybody
had it
in
right.
dark comes to the light. What is that a real song? I don't know. Did I just make that up? I think I heard that somewhere.
it sounds good, Kofi. You need to look. You need to record that.
Drop my solo album.
Well, Diddy can't help you, girl. We have to find somebody else to help you with that. You're not
I
doing
wouldn't want to
Diddy.
work with him anyway. Oh gosh. Okay. All
Alright.
right, y'all. It's
But
been
this was
good
good. It was heavy, but it was good. We needed
Yeah.
to have that discussion, so
for sure.
alright, well, we'll see you next
Next
time.
time.